welcome to the Newsx Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, it's been a pretty awesome week in terms of elections, in terms of politics, and in terms of good old-fashioned reporting. We've, of course, had the 5 assembly elections that are over. The exit polls came out last night, and I won't go into the details, but by and large, the states, Assam and Kerala, I think, seem to be clear-cut. Puducherry also seems to be clear-cut, but Tamil Nadu and West Bengal, that is really where the confusion lies. Most exit polls are predicting a hung house in West Bengal. Some say, most are also saying that BJP has the edge. So will Mamata Banerjee lose her bastion? That is something we're going to be talking today. Though also Tamil Nadu is another state I think we can also look at where, contrary to expectations, TVK has done very well. The Vijay factor, will he upset the DMK? That is something we can also take a look at. But primarily, I really want to focus on Tamil Nadu or on West Bengal. Joining me on the show today is Radhika Ramaseshan. She's a senior columnist and a senior journalist and a former political editor. I have Gautam Lahiri, again a senior journalist and a columnist and an analyst and someone who knows Bengal very well. Sandeep Ghosh, a political commentator and columnist, and again someone who knows Bengal and is from Bengal. But Gautam, starting with you first, what are your impressions? You heard the exit polls. Do you believe them? Without going into details of which one really, but by and large, who do you think is going to take West Bengal?
Well, first of all, at the outset, I would say that in so far Bengal is concerned, never the exit poll came true. The
That's true.
predictions were far away from the predictions. Because if you see, I was looking at the 2021 predictions. They, not a single poll star could predict that Mamata may cross 200. So I think there is some problem. There will be many states very easy to predict. Bengal is no doubt is very difficult to predict, and many pollsters are saying the people are not opening their mouths. In one of the leading pollster yesterday, I talked. He said could not come out with any prediction because people are not talking. Only 30% people are saying. So
Hmm.
70% are silent. So
This
that's
is
a very
access.
difficult to predict, but we can only say about the mood of the people in general. In general, that I think I always from the day one I was believing that Mamata has an edge over BJP, but no doubt this time in Bengal it happened in an unprecedented kind of the atmosphere was created during the poll season. And BJP has, they have learned how to win an election. They are quite over smart, you can say. We have never seen the home minister of a country stationing in Kolkata, five-star hotel for 15 days. Many of his associates are there. One newspaper has given a figure about how many crores were paid to five-star hotels. So that's the part. I would say that generally, by and large, the feeling is that BJP has not so much organization or organizational strength in the rural areas. They are definitely very vocal. You would see the people or media who go to media, urban areas, the people are slightly vocal, but not in the rural areas. That's difficult to say. And I would rather say, definitely would say, first of all, from the day one, it seems that the country's whole system is working as if there is some genuine crisis in West Bengal. Something has to be corrected. If you say from Supreme Court, where the justice of the Supreme Court is saying, okay, if you can't vote this time, you should vote next time. So this kind of thing where the system is working looks like working for a change of Bengal political leadership. It seems that not only the election commission. First of all, 90 lakhs voters were deleted. After that, the adjudication was 60. Now, still 27 lakhs are
Hmm.
pending, not giving franchise. It has never happened in this country that a voter has been denied his or her voting rights before the poll and election is announced. So that's why it's an unprecedented election. Never happened in a country after independence. So one may easily predict that perhaps the BJP will try to use it. Lots of more than 2,000 companies of CRPF,
Hmm.
first time National Investigating Agency are in the field. Oh, in the
So
night,
as
you
you
will
said,
see the
systems are being used. Huh.
marching of the security personnel in the night, midnight. All the armored vehicles are there. looks like a scene of, if you see this in some of the square of the city square, like it's a Tahrir Square or it's a Tiananmen Square, kind of a feature, or a Kashmir battlefield kind of a scene. So this way has annoyed the voter as well as panicked the voter also. But at the same time, I think that what basic thing which I found that about 115 seats, well, Mamata's party got 50% of votes. Definitely, there is anti-incumbency. There is a lot of allegations against Mamata government, which are true also. Not true, not like that, but yes, corruption is there, unemployment is there, people are in distress, that is also there. Even the farmers are not getting their dues, that is also there.
Correct.
But despite that, trying to give a kind of an kind of an welfare politics. She is doing like many other government, many other chief ministers. Even the government in India give 6,000 rupees to farmers before the poll. So
Hmm.
here, this kind of scheme. So these 50, whether there is and a huge wind against Mamata Banerjee or a swing, if you say in the electoral terms, to dissociate these 50% of votes, that's look impossible. But there are
Okay.
58 seats which are very marginal. Those are people owned by the candidate owned only by less than 1,000, 5,000 votes. So
Hmm.
when there is a deletion of voters or inclusion of, if you see even in the last, now the figures
Okay.
has come out that those
I'll
of
just
voters were deleted, but more than 30 lakhs new voters or the
also
voters
add it.
have
Okay,
voted,
so I'll just get
added. So,
Radhika also into this and come back to you on the, Radhika, the SIR is one part, but can the BJP unseat Mamta? Because what Gautam just said, the point about rural areas, maybe the urban talk and, the media also doesn't really penetrate deep into West Bengal. So have we got it right?
Priya, it's very hard for me sitting in Delhi, not being able to travel to Bengal, to make a judgment. But yes, the rural areas will hold the key. And there are reports that when this SIR was being conducted, a lot of Hindu names were also struck off. It was not just the Muslims who were
Deleted.
disenfranchised, at least for this election, but a lot of, especially the Matuas who were promised citizenship. So not only has the BJP reneged, not only did the BJP renege or not fulfill its promise, was their names were struck off. So we have to see if that has had a ripple effect on the voters who can actually go and vote, whether their anger or disappointment will be reflected in their voting in the rural areas. Of course, I'm talking about one community. There are several other communities in the rural areas. Now, one thing that struck me, Priya, is that the left front also, which reigned for decades in Bengal, the really tipping point came after land acquisition in Shingur and Nandigram. I mean, that
Hmm.
was really the point at which the left had to flip over. Has Mamta experienced that kind of a tipping point? I still don't think. What Gotham listed is very legitimate. Potato farmers not getting their crops are not being picked up, unemployment, in some cases, the welfare schemes not reaching the targeted beneficiaries. But you've traveled so much during election. If, for instance, you go to UP today, these are the kind of complaints you will hear in the rural areas. And yet, when it comes to voting, the picture is different. So we have to see if that tipping point has arrived for Mamta. But on the other hand, the might of the state. I mean, I have not seen
Yes.
this kind of institutionalized opposition to a ruling party or its leader. Every institution, possible institution, has been mobilized into service. The BJP leaders have descended in hordes, the workers, and so on. And in the kind of videos that you see on social media, if you are talking to if the YouTuber is talking to critics of Mamta, from their accent you can sort of discern that they are not really they're not really Bengalis. It is heavily accented Bhojpuri kind of. They could be from East UP or from Bihar. So the migrant vote will be crucial in the urban areas. There is no getting away with it from that. and it is possible that the migrant vote will pour into the BJP's kitty. Now, what that could mean that the BJP will walk away with quite a few of the urban seats. So, as we said in the beginning, the battle is in the rural areas, and it could be evenly poised. It could go in Mamta's favor, uh, or the BJP is very good at mobilizing voters. Let us not forget it. Rural or urban, they are very good, and this is something that they've been working on since the last elections, I believe. Mapping constituencies, working out the demographic, which gave them a kind of base to plan. For the to plan the whole the changes in the electoral rolls, the cleaning up, so to speak. They're talking about bringing in hygiene in the electoral rolls. Actually, it's something else. So these are the factors that I would look at. So nothing can be said, about Bengal. Whether the BJP has an edge or Mamta has an edge, I don't know. I mean, theoretically, yes, Mamta probably has an edge, but we have to see how the BJP's might has worked, and knowing how Mr. Amit Shah plans and executes any blueprint that he draws up. It's We've seen it happen in Delhi in the last elections. We've seen it happen in UP. We've seen it happen in other states as well. So I think that also has to be kept in mind. I mean, the role that Amit Shah has played in trying to swing this election.
Fair enough. I think the issues are really, Sandeep, what is your sense on the ground? And I do like that point, Radhika made. There is no turning point or a wave against Mamta also. So either it is the systems have been weaponized to defeat her, or her charisma. It's one side is the emotional appeal and one side is the systems. Am I right in putting it like this, Sandeep?
Uh, I don't really see it that way. Whereas certain broad takes of both Gautam and Radhika, I would agree with, but for different reasons.
Hmm.
First of all, as we were discussing, I don't attach a great deal of value to the exit polls, because why people don't get it right in West Bengal is because the exit pollsters, at least the companies or people who are doing it, they are not really from, they don't have a very close understanding of what Bengal is. And also some of their field workers, whom they essentially have to either induct them locally, or people supervise it from the people who come in from Delhi or elsewhere. I don't think, just like they don't have a very clear understanding of, somebody was telling me the other day, in what happens in Kerala if you don't know your Malayali, or even within Tamil Nadu, the same applies in West Bengal. And over and above that is the issue about who is talking, who is not talking. So the analysis, as I was mentioning earlier, cannot be in terms of what you're getting in terms of interviews, but it has to be an analysis in terms of how the voting has actually happened. And that's why I mentioned that round, I have been tweeted, round two. I don't know how people would have really had any firm fix by 5 o'clock yesterday evening, when the voting
That's
had
a good
hardly
point.
ended. And if they just went by the interviews, they could be widely wrong. So that's one part of it. But having said that, I have some fundamental points of difference with Gautam, as well as Radhika's understanding of some of these things. I think, it would be a mistake to say BJP does not have a penetration or foothold in the rural areas. The
I didn't say that,
problem,
Sandeep. Sorry, I didn't say that. I didn't.
okay,
I
so
just said that they
okay,
reneged
so
on certain promises they made. Huh?
So, in fact, I think urban areas traditionally they had been the last to change. Even when Left Front came in for a long time, Calcutta continued to vote for the Congress, and like that, there is always a lag in some of these. But that's not the main point. The real issue in this thing is the demographics. It is
Hmm.
irrespective of people's reach. It is the whole demographic divide. That is what, if you hear Prashant Kishore even now talking of 2021 or 2024, what IPAC had done or not done, they have all played on a demographic factor. And that is where BJP's calculations have so far fallen flat, because whatever other consolidation they try, they cannot crack this 30% overall of the Muslim vote. Or, as I said, there are certain areas where Muslim vote today as high as maybe 50%, in the border districts and South Bengal districts. So it's been that. But getting back from there, whether it is for Left Front or today TMC, there is always an accumulated anti-incumbency. But that tipping point is
Hmm.
reached only after a certain period of time. So left front, there was a anti-incumbency accumulating for a long time. But as Radhika said, partly it was triggered by the land acquisition, etc. But that's also partly triggered when Trinamool had the ground strength. So they had the ground people swing in their
Capitalize on
favor,
it.
capitalize on it to get those votes transferred. So similarly, after 4 terms, there would be a lot of natural anti-incumbency. But the natural anti-incumbency doesn't get capitalized, as you said, or translate until there is a counter force which is of significance. And this, which is strong. And this is where what Radhika was mentioning, the institutional factor comes in, because BJP realized that they will, in 2021, they tried to buy that kind of support. That's what Kailash Vijayvargiya and other people did. But that didn't work. So this time, through institutional means, whether it's security forces, whether it is your cleaning up of the electoral rolls, etc., they would have tried to achieve some of it and instill the confidence in voters to come out and vote. Now, that's confidence in voters also doesn't
Hmm.
happen because people have seen, whether in the left front or even in the last 2021 election, there is a lot of
Yeah.
post-poll retribution which happens. So until people are confident of a change happening, they will not even come out and vote, even if they want to do
Okay.
that. Whether that
So,
tipping point has happened, last 1 minute to correct,
hmm.
BJP has been working very hard for many, many years in the rural areas, especially the tribal belts, what's called Jungle Mahal, North Bengal.
Ah.
They have had penetration. They gave it up again in 2021 by the false assumption that they could acquire these things, and that's where they alienated again the RSS and their work in 2021 and the gains they had till 2019. Now they have again gone back to that. The weakness remains still on the phase 2 areas, which you've seen, South Bengal, border districts, and how they have, whether they have managed to, they managed to convert at least a higher
Okay.
number than what they got
Hmm.
is going to determine the outcome of this election.
Okay, we need to take a break, but I'm going to come back and ask a question about the fact that the BJP doesn't have a face. So how much will that impact after a quick break? Hello and welcome back to the roundtable. We're taking a look at the Bengal election, and Gautam, the fact that the BJP, okay, what I take your point on the institutions and the systems, and but here they don't have a face. Is it very important? How important is that? Because the whole thing of BJP being a party of outsiders, that really drew a chord when Mamata Banerjee raised that issue.
Well, that's true, but in many states we have found that BJP has not declared their chief ministerial candidate. Even if you see the Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath came later.
But will
Even
it make a
Hemant
difference in
Sharma.
Bengal?
Well, in Bengal, when Mamata Banerjee was fighting against CPM, she was the face, no doubt.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
over the last 15 years, we have not seen any big movement against the TMC government by the BJP. Some sporadic incidents, some sporadic processions or kind of a march to Nabanno, the secretariat, that had happened, but not any. But Mamta, if you see the history of Mamta, she has done a protracted struggle against the CPI, which BJP didn't do. Or
Hmm.
rather, the BJP is also a very faction-ridden party in Bengal, unlike in other states. Even some leaders, even in their wedding party, they don't invite other leaders. Kind of relationship they have, personal relationship. So bad.
See.
Even if you see, I found one comment from one of the former president of state BJP, the Mr. Dilip Ghosh. He said that, look, this is a party BJP ruled by the center, and they will decide the chief minister. What you think? People ask whether Shubhendu is a face. He said there
Exactly.
is no face. There is no face. It will be decided by the party leadership later. So don't go on a particular name. Bengali psyche, which is slightly different. If the Bengali feels the verdict is hijacked, I don't know what will happen later. So in other states with the Haryana, Bihar, UP, people accepted the verdict, even if they are not agreed to it. But in Bengal, it will be very difficult. Number two, what I say, if you see the Bengali psyche, what I'm saying, that in Bengal, nobody has to prove that he is a Bengali. So Mamata cleverly, campaigned in a way that BJP is a non-Bengali party, anti-Bengali party. If you see, look at all the Bengalis, household make workers here in the NCR region, they have all gone for voting. We are all deprived of eating fish in our home now. So Mamata has campaigned that, and if you see that BJP leaders are trying to project themselves as that they are also not anti-fish. And somebody said that fish is not a non-veg item; it's a vegetarian item because we don't use onions in the garlic even in the fish making, fish cooking. So if you have seen Prime Minister eating jhalmuri, then Prime Minister sailing through Ganges, the clean Ganges, the Prime Minister went to Sikkim playing football, giving a message to. At the same time, he's also giving a ideological message by offering pujas on the voting day in Banaras. So this kind of mixing, and they have put all their what they had, BJP, they have put all their stuffs for winning an election. That's true. That's true. But also, don't forget that not only I'm talking about this Lakshmi Bhandar or anything, I'm talking these 22 lakhs of migratory workers. They gone there, and they first time they have voted. Many of them didn't vote last time. Now they have voted this time, and Mamata gives them a money every month. Some of the migratory workers they get 5,000 rupees a month. And also, this new scheme called Juba Sati for unemployed youth, giving 1,500. This may give created some kind of a vote bank. And also, I would say the minorities at large, unless minority is divided, I don't know whether this ISF or the Humayun Kabir, how much is the damage for Mamta. But most of the in the second phase, most of the Muslims are Urdu speaking Muslims. Not the Bengali speaking Muslims are in the northern part of Bengal. Murshidabad, Bakura, Allah, etc. etc. But in south, in Calcutta, Muslims are 60% are Urdu speaking Muslims. It's very difficult to BJP to reach out to them. And they are very, you can say, and if somebody there is a complaint about the fundamentalism also, even the minister who spoke like. So this is one issue. Another one is that the women voters definitely and the migratory voters, they are actually I think the constituency of Mamata, which Mamata is nurturing over the years. So I don't know how much of them are disillusioned now from Mamata, whether they need a 1,500 rupees. Even the SC/ST women are getting 1,700 rupees. So whether this money is enough or they have a kind of an aspiration. We have seen some comments
Right.
of the women. They are also aspiring that their children should be educated. They should get jobs. Not that those only can keep them alive. This is sustenance allowance only. One thing also, lastly,
Okay.
I would say one thing people are forgetting or don't give much importance. In Bengal this time, many Muslim institutions are reaching out to Muslim children and giving them education. You'll be surprised to know many of the districts, most of the doctors are Muslim doctors. Many of them are going to Harvard and Oxford. From there, they are talking to their parents, and the parents and these kind. There is a mission called Alamin Mission. There, so you can say somebody jokingly said, perhaps now they feel that during the BJP regime they can't do any jihad. They are doing no educational jihad. Kind of, they are trying to educate their children so that they can fight, they can live with a dignity in the society. They are not a
Correct.
typical kind of jihadi Muslims. This thing has not been very publicized in the national media or the general media. So I think there is a definitely change. But if the BJP wins, then one can say that now there is a tectonic shift of Bengali psyche. If BJP wins, definitely.
Yes,
So that's
Radhika,
Yeah.
sorry, if BJP wins, that's the impact that would have in terms of even opposition politics, the tectonic shift of Bengali psyche, but even the whole opposition psyche, because she is the tallest leader in the opposition.
Absolutely, there's no question. I don't think there'll be any India bloc if Mamata loses, or if and also if the DMK loses Tamil Nadu after May 4th. If you
Yeah,
notice,
that's the other thing,
yeah,
yes.
if you notice, Priya, there was no joint opposition kind of arrangement at
Campaign.
all. In Tamil Nadu, very interestingly, Rahul and Stalin did not share a platform even once. Now, that doesn't send a very great signal, and considering that the DMK has been one of the oldest allies of the Congress.
Congress.
And it's very important. The Congress is not in a position to fight on its own and win seats. Congress wanted an alliance with Vijay. Stalin, in his wisdom, didn't think that was prudent. So, there was some kind of friction between the two parties. Now, coming to Bengal, very interesting. Rahul Gandhi jumped into the fray in the fag end of the campaign, the second phase, and he was
Hmm.
missing Mamta. I mean, he was, of course, he criticized the BJP, but equally he targeted Mamta, and that kind of made me wonder what on earth is this India bloc all about? What is this opposition coalition all about? They come together in parliament at times, but this is more important to the public forum outside of parliament. I mean, what is the message that you are sending? And for the opposition, if Bengal and Tamil Nadu are lost, it's like the end of the India bloc, I would say. As it is, Kejriwal is in trouble. I mean, he's not such a pillar of the bloc, but still he's there. But on the other hand, if Mamta wins, and if
Hmm.
Stalin wins, Mamta wins. I mean, she is the one who fought against the most formidable odds that I have ever seen in an Indian election. Already there are voices from within the India bloc, not the Congress, mind you, which say that she should be declared as the leader of the India bloc. Now, whether that happens or not, because primarily because of the Congress's obduracy, the Congress would not want to yield that position to a regional party. I mean, it still fancies itself as the GOP, and by birth, by entitlement, it thinks that
And the pan India this thing.
yeah, pan
Appeal.
India presence. Mamta does obviously
Presence.
doesn't have a pan India presence. I mean, she tried and she couldn't succeed. Yeah, that is one thing. But pan India presence where? I mean, wherever the Congress contests, it seems to be losing ground. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just taking the Gujarat local body elections as an example. You had enough and more time to organize your party or organize your party organization at the grassroots. You did nothing. You virtually gifted away the election to the BJP. In
Hmm.
fact, I think the AAP has done marginally better than the Congress, or maybe as good as the Congress in certain places. So I'm just taking that as an example. So the opposition, as far as I can see, will be in a bit of turmoil either way. Lose, then of course Mamta is out of the picture. She is.
Hmm.
But to win, that will create more problems for the India bloc if it exists at all. I mean, as far as I can see, it doesn't even exist, even nominally at the moment. But that is where things stand. And you can
Okay.
imagine
Hmm.
what a BJP victory is going to do to the BJP and the Sangh Parivar. My God, I mean, breaking Bengal. I mean, as it is, there
Wow.
are tweets from their cheerleaders already suggesting that we have invaded the cultural life of Bengal and so on and so forth. As if Bengal is another country and India is another country. I mean, the use of words like invaded and things. But that is the way Gujarat is looking at it, and they think it is going to be Gujarat hegemony in the years to come. So that is how things stand as far as the
Bengal.
picture is. Yeah, Bengal and its implications are concerned.
Sandeep, in fact, that's what Gautam meant by tectonic shift in the Bengal psyche if the BJP wins. But Sandeep, your take on what the scenario will look like opposition politics if Mamata wins or Mamata loses?
It's not going to be as extreme. There is a big difference between Bengal and other states. You're forgetting Trinamool remains the second largest party in parliament. So don't expect that, Trinamool to get into the mode of what RJD has done or even a BJD has done after losing Bihar or in Odisha. They will keep their anti-up. Mamata will, so even if there is a victory, don't expect Bengal. I said this on another show yesterday. Don't expect things to quieten down in Bengal immediately. There is going to be either way. Whether TMC comes back or BJP, if they breach the bastion, you will continue to see a lot of turbulence in Bengal going forward. The issue about whether Mamata get accepted nationally or not, that's a separate battle which would play out due to various factors about Trinamool's presence elsewhere or not there, who has the money. Rahul Gandhi still seems to get some, but despite Congress getting decimated, Congress doesn't seem to lack money in going and sponsoring him even in Andaman Nicobar. He's spending time there, I don't know, or any other state. All that will keep happening. That is a separate discourse. You can't wish away TMC immediately from national politics, at least for the next 3 years. They have enough firepower. You were talking of Shalini Ghosh and Derek O'Brien, Mamata, and the rest of it. That will continue to happen. The last point.
But Sandeep, have you been watching social media? Mahua Moitra attack on Amit Shah, Derek Bryan. Is this a sign of panic or is it business as usual?
No, I think it's business. It's not a sign of panic, but they will, that's their, what you call within the party, that's also their USP, that they can speak, they are the people who are articulate, who can talk to a certain audience. And maybe you're bringing me to the last point I was going to make here,
right.
That when you talk about Bengali, non-Bengali, etc., Mamata Banerjee is the only leader of TMC in Bengal. Not that any other, there are other than Mamata Banerjee, any of the other so-called quote-unquote Bengali leaders of TMC, I'm not talking about Abhishek, everybody else, nobody else is liked or anybody matters. So to that extent, the battle being of Mamata versus Modi is fine. So the question that there are no Bengali leaders of BJP of that stature, it doesn't matter who else is the leader of stature in TMC other than Mamata. You might say Abhishek, but none of the other leaders you say are even chief minister material, or people will even consider them to be ministerial material. So on that, there is an even playing field. Okay. And so if people are going to vote for BJP, they are going to vote to take a cliche for the double engine sarkar kind of thing. They would expect Bengal having been neglected by whichever party has been in power in the center for so many years. They would expect a change in that. If BJP comes, it's those kind of considerations which will make them vote. So I don't see that being a particular disadvantage for certainly would have helped if you had a Himanta Biswa kind of a figure in Bengal, but not having so, I don't think is such an issue also, because they will pitch it against Modi versus Mamata.
On that note, thank you so much. It's if we're going to spend the rest of this week trying to get a grip on the election, and as Gautam said, the exit polls have got it wrong earlier, so they can't really be a marker as to what kind of results to expect. But it's been a very interesting month, and let's now the last few days the suspense carries on. But thank you for helping us decode it. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.